Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is nnshapumba, aka Nay the Hustler. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Please do consider subscribing and also hit the notification bell so that every time I upload a video you will be notified. So guys, I'm wearing a hat in today's video because my hair is terrible. I honestly do not know what to do with this hair anymore. It is so bad. I don't know if I should cut it. I don't know if I should plait it. I don't know if I should wear a wig. But every time I wear a wig, it takes me like 30 minutes or 20 minutes before my head starts being painful or I start sweating. So without wasting any time, guys, in today's video I just wanted to share my story, my delivery story, natural birth that turned into induction, that turned into an emergency C-section. Now I've been wanting to talk about this for such a long time, but because I was still traumatized, I am still traumatized, but I'm so much better now. I took so much time. I have filmed this video before and I couldn't upload it because I felt like the volume was kind of like very low. So that's why I decided to reshoot this video. If you haven't watched my part 1, this is going to be a part 2. If you haven't watched my part 1, please go watch it. I've linked it in my description box. Very important, guys, you need to check my description box. I really do leave informative information in there. So I was in the hospital for 2 days. On Tuesday I had to be induced and then nothing really happened, but because my son was in distress they had to like stop everything and we had to wait for the following day. So just to recap, I was admitted on a Monday and then I had to go for induction on a Tuesday, and then on a Tuesday they had to stop because my son was uncomfortable. He wasn't his heart rate wasn't proper, so the doctors were like, no, we need to stop and just see if the baby won't come on his own. So the following day, which was a Wednesday, before we get to Wednesday, like the whole night I had no pains, I had nothing, guys, and I was so stressed because I was there for like now two days and basically 2 nights. So I was so stressed because everyone that came before me, everyone that came after me were having their babies and I was not having my baby. And if you know, my pregnancy has been what they call a high-risk pregnancy, so it was really difficult, and I was just asking myself what was wrong, what was happening, what is this, why is this happening to me, you know? It was so sad, guys. I actually had some pains which I thought were labor pains, but I was told they were false labor pains the following day, which is now a Wednesday. So the doctors came to check and they still said I was on 1 centimeter. 1 centimeter basically just means that the baby is still far. So guys, it was so stressful. I don't want to lie to you because I had already, if you haven't watched my pregnancy type of video, please do check them out. This is my third pregnancy. This was my third pregnancy. Oh my goodness, I'm not pregnant, guys. So this was my third pregnancy and it was regarded as a high-risk pregnancy. I'm now in the hospital for 3 days and nothing is happening. I was so stressed. I was asking God why this was happening to me, you know, and I was so scared. More than anything, I was just so scared. So the doctors were like, no, we need to induce you again. Okay, so I think around 10, I'm not too sure, I'm not accurate with the times, guys, because I was literally losing my mind. They gave me a dose, so I took the dose and nothing happened. The nurse came to check. Now this nurse was very nice to me, guys. She came there and she shared her experience as well. She told me she also had a miscarriage and I should just be strong, you know, I shouldn't worry, because I was starting to cry because all this time, guys, I am bleeding. I'm heavily bleeding, guys. I'm bleeding. Like I said, I ran out of pads. My husband had to buy me pads and I couldn't understand why I'm bleeding and my son is not here and I'm 1 centimeter, you know. And then they gave me the induction medication. Nothing happened. And then the nurse said she was going to give me another dose again just to see what will happen. And then I asked her, if it doesn't happen, what's going to happen to me? If I don't give birth naturally, what was going to happen to me? And then she told me that they had to look for another option, and the other option was a C-section. And I promise you, from the beginning of my pregnancy, we planned that I wanted a natural birth, and I was praying all the time for that because I was so scared. I don't know, I don't know, I was just so fearful about C-sections. Like it just wasn't part of my plan. But at the end of the day, it's God's plan. It's not our plan. So it's God's plan. It's not our plan. And I was freaking out. I'm like, dear God, please. I told you before. I prayed to you before. This is not what I want. Let my baby come, please. I'm begging you, you know. And then I had the second dosage that I took. And then I didn't have pains for some time. And then eventually I had the most excruciating pain that it was so painful, guys. Like, I have felt a similar pain before. I will share a video on that. But labor pain is unbearable. It's unexplainable. You really don't understand how to explain it. You really don't understand how to tell the next person how it really, really feels. And I was just in so much pain, guys. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't move. However, the nurse kept on, coming to come check up on me and to see if I was fine. And still, I was on 1 centimeter. So when she came back to come and check, that's when she told me, okay, you know what? You are now into labor. These are labor pains. These aren't fake ones. Because I think they came like after 2 minutes. So when they come, it's so painful, guys. It is so painful. I can't even explain how painful it is. And then when it goes, it's like nothing. It's like nothing happened. Like, you're totally fine. And when it comes back, guys, I promise you can be in a mall full of people and you're completely naked. You wouldn't even care because your main focus is on the pain. I felt like, taking out my hair one by like one by one, taking out my hair. That's how painful it was. And then I called the nurse. And then I called the nurse to come and check. And then she told me, no, it's still 1 centimeter. I'm like, no. It can't be 1 centimeter. This pain is so much. It's too much for me, And then she said to me, no, we have to check. We have to keep on checking because we can't take you to the delivery room. Remember, I gave birth in a public hospital. So she was like, I can't take you to the delivery room unless you reach a certain stage where you are allowed to go into the delivery room. Guys, I was in so much pain. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so painful. And then I felt like I wanted to poop. Okay. So embarrassing. I felt like I wanted to poop. And then I called the nurse, I told her, you know what, I want to poop. And then she said to me, you can't poop. You can't go to the loo and poop because sometimes when you are giving birth, it feels like you want to poop, but it's actually the baby, that's coming. So I was like, no, like, I don't know what's this thing about pregnant women, especially when they go into labor. I've watched movies regarding that. It's like we are the most stubborn people. Like, you don't want to hear what people are saying, you just want people to do what you want them to do. And I'm like, there's no way. I know how I feel when I want to go poop. I want to go poop. And she tells me, you can't go poop. There's no way I'm letting you go poop. I'm like, and then I tried standing up and she was like, no, lie down. I'm going to fetch a container for you so you can poop here. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to poop in a container. And then eventually she tried calming me down. And then as when she came back, I really felt like I had to go. So I stood up. When I stood up, my water broke. There was just water. There was just something liquid. It's not like the ones that we see in the movie that's like so massive, like it was just water that broke. And she was like, okay, lie down quickly. And then after lying down, she checked again, and then she said, you're 7 centimeters, and since your water has broke, we need to rush you to the delivery room. So I had to get on a wheelchair, and she had to push me to the delivery room. And she had to push me to the delivery room. Now, this is a different room from the one that I was in. So we got there, guys. I'm telling you, when I got there, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. Now I had oxygen on me because I can't breathe on my own. I remember the nurse saying that, she won't be able to push. She won't be able to push on her own because my baby was apparently in distress. And I was just in so much pain, and I couldn't move, guys. I couldn't do anything. They had to like roll me over if they wanted to do something. And it was it was actually more than the labor pains. It was more painful than the labor pains. And I was just saying to myself, but God, this is not what I prayed for. Because the nurse was even like, no, we need doctors here. There's no way this girl is going to push on her own. It's highly impossible, because now my son actually pooped in the womb. So you don't want that to happen to you. You don't want your son to poop in the womb, guys. It's very, very dangerous. And the longer the baby stays in there, the higher the risks. So now I'm stressing that my baby has pooped. Now I'm stressing that my baby has pooped in the womb. I'm stressing that I can't do anything. I can't talk. I can't move. I cannot do anything. So now they're saying, no, there's no way you're going to push. They're trying to have a conversation with me, you know, trying to keep me awake and stuff like that. And my eyes, guys, my eyes started rolling. I was freaking out. So guys, my eyes started rolling. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do nothing. One thing that I was sad about was that they only let you sign that form. I don't know, maybe it's because it's an emergency C-section. Like, you sign that form when you can't do you can't talk, you can't do anything. So before you go into theater, they have to make you sign a form where you're agreeing to terms and conditions. And if one thing I remember, I can't remember anything. One thing I remember was that if I had to lose so much blood, were they allowed to give me blood or stuff like that? But there's just a lot of things. I just said, okay. But in my mind, I was so hurt, guys. I was so stressed. I was so traumatized. I still am. But I'm so much better. I'm so much better. Trust me, I look better. And then now we had to go to the theater. My husband, my mom, they were outside. They were clueless about what was going on. They had no idea I was even going into theater, guys. Would I give birth at a public hospital again? I don't know, guys. I wouldn't want that to happen. Yeah, I would have loved for my husband to be there. Honestly, I feel like it was gonna be so much better if he was there with me. And yeah, I just had some funny experience that I'm going to share. They were not major, but they were here and there. I mean, it's a public hospital. What do you expect? So then I went to the theater room. When I went to the theater room, guys, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't move. I couldn't sit. I couldn't do nothing. So this doctor tells me, can you please try to sit straight so I can give you the injection, the injection that they give you on your spinal cord, if I'm right. So I couldn't sit up. I couldn't do anything. She was and it was a he, and it was like, please try to sit up straight. I promise you, once I give you this injection, you are not gonna feel any pain. I promise, right? And then I gathered my strength. And I was able to sit. And then after that, he injected me like he promised. I could literally feel my legs go numb. I felt my legs feeling cold and numb, guys. I couldn't feel a thing. The pain was gone, like he said it would go. And then they start performing the surgery. The whole time I am unconscious, guys. I don't know if it's the right word, but I can't do anything. I can't talk. They're trying to have a conversation with me. I can't talk. I can't do anything. I can't see properly. It was so scary. And guess what? After they what I believe they opened, or after the operation, before they took out the baby, I started vomiting, guys. I started vomiting, like literally vomiting. And I remember one of the doctors saying that ever since he performed surgeries on people, he's never encountered a patient who was vomiting. In my mind, so guys, imagine they're doing the surgery on you and you hear those words that they've never performed a C-section on someone and they started vomiting. I was literally saying to myself, I am dead. I was like, you know what, Naomi? DEAD, dead. You are dead, dead. And I remember, saying a prayer in my mind, asking God to save my son. Just save my son. If I can die, it's fine. Just save my son. And I was like, God, my son has already been through so much. He's pooped, they did induction and everything, and now he has to go through this. And I'm like, God, if you can just save my son, meaning right, And then eventually they took out the baby. My son didn't cry. I think that's something that traumatized me so much. up until this day, my son didn't cry. And the doctor, one of the doctors, I don't know if it's the doctors or the nurses, I'm not too sure, was like, maybe there's something wrong with him. You know, those words, they crushed me. You know, they crushed me. I'm like, God, why would you do this to me? Why would you? You know, my son is not crying, and I had to go through his surgery, and I can't feel anything. I can't feel my legs. I can't feel, you know, I just felt like I was going crazy. And then eventually my son started crying. I don't know what they did. I think they poured water in him, or they gave him a slap on the bum, I don't know. And then they gave me my son. They showed me, sorry guys, there's so much noise. They showed me my son, and then they asked me like, what gender is it? And then I said it's a boy. And yeah, and then I had to go back to another ward, and for 8 hours I had to, like, I don't know what you call it, but not for 8 hours. I couldn't eat. I wasn't allowed to eat. I wasn't allowed to drink water. I wasn't allowed to sit. Those who have went through a C-section know what I'm talking about. It's like when the injection finishes, guys, it's so painful. Like, you feel the pain when the injection is finished, but once they inject you again, the pain is gone. And when they gave me my son, that was one of the most beautiful thing in the world. I forgot about the pain. I forgot about everything that I went through. And one of the experience that I kind of like, one of the experience that I didn't like was I actually bloated myself. This is so embarrassing. I actually bloated myself, and also nurses had to change my pads, guys. I've never been so sick to a point where I was unable to change my own pad. So nurses had to change my pad. Like, nurses had to change my pads, guys. It's so uncomfortable. And before that, before the whole giving birth and stuff like that, they actually pin something close to your vagina, like close to your vagina. I'm sorry if it's strong language, but that's what they do when you go into a C-section. They pin it to you because you won't be able to pee on your own. So you have this sack next to your bed where you are peeing. Very uncomfortable, something that I've never experienced. And it was just so, the whole situation, guys, is so traumatizing. That's why it took me so much time to actually come here and talk about it, you know. So they gave me, fast forward, they gave me my son. I forgot about everything that I went through. And then something happened, guys. That nurse made me feel so dirty. I bloated myself. I don't know if I'm using the right word. So, like, there was blood all over my bed. And this nurse, when she came when she came by to change the sheets, she was like, oh, ganugala, like, her expression, I still remember it. I still see it, you know. This, like, I'm paralyzed, guys. I can't do anything. Even if I noticed that the bed was messy, there was blood all over, what was I going to do? Because I'm a patient, I'm sick. I can't take those blankets and take them to the laundry room or anything like that. She made me feel so dirty. She made me feel so disgusted. She made me feel that I don't want to ever give birth at a public hospital, guys. I'm sorry. I'd rather spend money to have my son or my daughter, because yes, I do want more kids. I know I went through a lot, but I still want more kids. So she made me feel so disgusting about myself. I felt so terrible. Even the other ladies were like, no, she wasn't supposed to do that, because what else were you gonna do, you know? There was just so much blood coming out, and honestly there was nothing I could do about it. So all in all, my experience wasn't that bad, but there were things that I experienced here and there. I don't want to keep this video long, guys, so this is where I'm gonna leave it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, don't forget to leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.